Wow, right people, been a little while there. So we've been on holiday for 3 weeks down Cornwall now, so we've been kind of busy. I tried to upload a video just before we went and it wouldn't upload for some strange reason there. I don't know why. Right, let's get to this sewer. Right, the police in the previous one when I mentioned about up Thropley and stuff, I mentioned the same copper's name twice, so I'll just put that straight, yeah. One was Palmer, one was Ambry and one was McGarry. There was other police behind the scenes. Some people, if you've heard further back on the videos I've made, that would have been explained a bit more. They're in it, you know, just sit with them. Not good, not good. Right. Nick Kemp, right, as a new leader of council rode into town. Call him Nick Kemp. Thought Forbes he was bad. I reckon this bloke's going to be worse. So yeah, I'll play a little video what he said and then we'll go through a couple of bits. So hey, I'm just going to call him now actually, like, because I've already made my mind up. I've seen some of his garbage. So he's a kipper. He's out there that don't know what a kipper is. Two-faced and no guts. This man's got emails now that he's not answering from Angela. Important emails, and he's sitting back the same as them other clowns, them two Labour clowns, yeah? Let's get this on. Right, now we'll go, people, have a listen to this. Have a listen.
I'm Nick Kent, the new council leader, Newcastle City Council. Just want to introduce ourselves, our new administration, telling you all, our very valuable staff, how we have new priorities, new objectives and want to go about a new way of working as a Labour administration. Our priorities are very clear to us because they're clear to you as local residents and our workforce. They are child poverty, the cost of living crisis and a carbon neutral agenda. These are all mission critical to Newcastle. We understand all of these affect you as individuals as well as our workforce as local residents, so we're very keen to ask you to tell us how we can go about achieving them.
The first is child poverty. We know we have some of the highest child poverty rates in the country, and it's imperative that we find both short-term interventions to help people in the immediate term, but also some longer-term solutions to help prevent the problem worsening and hopefully to alleviate the problem. We know that residents in our city, our workforce, are all suffering from the increases in costs in fuel, in energy costs, in food prices, and we want to find ways to help our residents and our workforce through that. We've set ourselves some very ambitious targets. We've achieved quite a lot already, but we know we've got further to go.
So please feel free to speak to us directly as politicians, also through within your teams, speak to team leaders, cabinet members, anyone please. We've got a very open policy. We're really keen to hear from you about your suggestions about how we can do things better. You know best and we're here to listen.
Well, what do you make of that, people? What do you make of that? More talk, no action, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll get into a bit of this. And so when he said a new way of working, it's not your way of working. They've just done exactly the same what the previous leader of council did. He told lies, wouldn't meet with. He promised to meet the residents and discuss this, and they'll not. They'll not meet with people. He's the same, Nick Kemp. They'll not sit around the table with just normal residents who've got paperwork to show that it's the opposite of what he's getting told, and he's just sticking with the rhetoric off there. The same ones that's telling them some officer has said it's above board and that, and it's far from it. Angela went through this, so listen to this. Sure, they have an open policy, eh? Really? Why aren't you listening to it? And why aren't you meeting with me? That's a big one. You're frightened to. I challenge you. Any of you's muppets down there, meet with, and we'll go around. We'll let some people go and we can go through this. And he says, the residents know best. Of course we know best because we know what's best for the area. But unfortunately they're doing the opposite, and it's all under the disguise, man. They're not accountable, right? Right, Angela went to the Civic. So she'd been putting emails in with others while we've been coming back off Holland on holiday. And they're not giving good enough answers, of course. So she went to the meeting down there in front of all the full council. And it's not a fault here, people. I'm telling you, she wasn't happy with Gan doing, but she's done it because she's a proper soldier, of course, and she knows it's important. So she got up there and she read stuff out to the full lot of them and all that, man. And she done fantastic, man. What a star she is, man. And she read it out, and just part of it, because I'm going to read that email out what she read down there, and it's quite extensive, yeah. So I will get out on the next one, do some short ones, and we'll read it out and you'll hear what she says, because obviously she's the brains. I'm just an old guy, as you can tell, not educated, but I know what the truth is, and it's important the truth gets out there, because it's going to be repeated what they're doing, man. So she asked him to honour his words of his video, and the consultation was not fair and just, and she assured him the paperwork, she's just sent it down about a week and a half ago, and he still hasn't answered back. And it shows you that it was corruptly done. It was done through COVID, when you couldn't put the leaflets out and stuff, they were telling you. And they've just tried to just shove it through with the COVID crack, and it was developer driven. It was from Toolint, and everybody rejected it, even at Toolint, with the biased questions I had. You couldn't actually reject it the way it had it, and when you see it, man, because I'll bring it out, you'll see it. You'll see it, man. It's not right. So she's waiting for answers from Nick Kemp, the leader of council, and them two Labour clowns up there, Simon Bonds and Dan Greenhoff. And Angela said when she'd read it out, but this is what happens down there, people. She had to put a question in to him, what our questions were going to be, days before. Then he gets time to look at it, and he stood up down there, couldn't hear all of it, so she's put to him, I want an answer to me questions, and I want this in writing. So I want the minutes of what was down there, or what you're seeing, and I want to look at that properly. So he went on for ages, waffling and all that, and he just come up with this crap that this house is needed and all that, not even taking any notice of what we've said, or the residents. They're not representing us, man, people. There's over 2,500 and more now that rejected that. And there was a few hundred rejected it at the consultation of Toolint, man. And they're taking no notice, so it's all just ticking boxes. It's not done fair. You know it's not, man. And we can show it. And there's other consultations involved with this from previous ones, you'll see. So what happened was, she was looking at him when he went to sit down after he just waffled garbage and made himself look like a total idiot. He's a hypocrite, and I'm going to say a liar, because he's just put that video out and he's just went against it. So when Angela was looking at him sitting down, he looked at her and she says, hey, if looks could kill, because you know why the idiots had to get up and make himself look a clown. Actually, I nearly swore, man. Nearly swore. Right, I'll just get on to this now. So I'm just going to reiterate this. The Labour Council are not democratic. The leader of council's lied, officers have lied, councillors have lied. You've heard this. That can't be acceptable. Cannot. And we, the people, need to see transparency and accountability from them whom are supposed to represent with. Supposed to represent with. That's the operative word here, because they're not. It's clear they're trying to avoid accountability. You, Nick Kemp, are trying to avoid accountability. You're an absolute disgrace. This area, Newcastle City, is not going to get any better, people. It's going to get a lot worse until you get these Labour clowns out that are liars, deceitful people, not even listen to the residents. They'll not meet around the table, those simple people that I'm talking with myself. The other people's got more brains than me, of course. They'll not meet around the table, and we know why, of course, because they're going to look like idiots, and it's bad for them, I'm telling you, bad for them. Right. Ward councillors. This is Dan Greenhoff and Bonds, yeah. So Simon Bonds lied to us, the public, and there was 20 at the meeting. Now when that was put to investigation, which they dragged on for ages, and like I say, they whitewashed it. They just said that they didn't believe what all of us do, but put statements in, I said, and we all seen it. There was youth there, and the youth saying this as well. They're saying that people are supposed to be in charge as liars, and not good people, of course. Right, so Barnsley's put back when Angela asked him a simple question. So there was a calling pulled in, and that was done by the independent councillors, because that's got to be done by them. They've just sent us down blind alleys. Catherine McKinnon, the rest of them, I'm coming back to her, and they sent us down blind alleys. We couldn't do anything with that. That had to be instigated by councillors, and there had to be a certain number. I think it's 7 off the top of my head, but there were one short, and guess which 2 wouldn't sign it? The 2 clowns in your ward, the Labour ones. So they were asked simple questions, and a question to Barnsley was, and Greenough, if you signed a colon, do you think that would have made a difference to the field, and it would have went down to the Secretary of State, as he's heard, and then it would have to be looked in, and once we get into them with this paperwork, man, they're in big trouble, of course, and it would be looked at, and it would be stopped, I'm sure, pretty sure it would be stopped. Sure. They wouldn't sign it, you know what he said? I've got to go back to officers and ask them. So he's got to go to officers to ask them how to think. And he's supposedly one of the ward councillors that's supposed to represent yous. Us. They're not representing, where you can see this as plain as day, they're representing the views of the council. Now that breaks into 7 principles of public life, of course, which means nothing to any of them. They don't abide by these rules and stuff, man. They seem like they're above it, and they'll just push you out the way and ignore you till it dies down and just go ahead with what they're doing. But they've got to be stopped, people. They've got to be accountable for their actions they're doing on this field now. And when they get held accountable for it, they're in trouble. We'll see where they're going now. Right. So she's still waiting answers from him, and she put another email back in. We're still waiting. So it's over 7 days, supposed to reply in 5, him and all that crap. So she put it back to him. Get back and see your officers and ask them. Then if they've got an attack for you, and ask them. She's put stuff back to me. I'm going to bring these emails out and read them out here, because they're brilliant, the ones she puts through, man. They're brilliant, you know. Right, just before I forget, here's a one. So when Angela was looking at something about 3 weeks ago, she's an investigative person, as she is now, and she went doing a rabbit hole, of course, and it's like the Matrix, because you just shoot off and you're going, yeah, big spider's web crack, and she just come across something which she wasn't looking for, so she just had a little look for a few minutes and then put it off, but she did see it. Pardon. She said when she was looking, it come up about Newburn Battlefield. So what they're doing, it looks like in the background, they're looking at how to reword it or something. It looks like they're trying to say that's not classed as a full battlefield or something. So therefore in the future, some kind of building stuff can go on. No, just to tie in with that. When we're down the field down Leamington, and also at the time, a couple of months ago, there were signs put up about this big, and we're only up about 2 days, people in Leamington and along there. So it's somebody called Bayline. Now, whatever not, they're selling them off the sort of wildlife corridor bits. And it looks like they go into Bayline, and on one side it's got about sort of wildlife and stuff, and then on the other side it had about building stuff and all that. They were only up 2 days and it took them doing, so they're trying to tick some kind of boxes here, I think. So some of you do now want to get up on this and look into it, you know, because I'm telling you, it's looking suspicious, because that'll be the only place that's left to build on, people, because it built on the last field here they're taking now, is we sit here under false pretences, premeditated lies, and we can show it 100%, man. Sure. Right, the Chronicle. Right, so that's Dan Greenough again. So Dan Greenough, when we were on that meeting with him and Catherine McKinlay, he was asked a question twice. He wouldn't answer it in front of Catherine McKinlay, and he could answer it because Andrew went like out of the paperwork. And in 2016, when he was a Labour councillor up here, lo and behold, his name's on this sheet of paper, as well as others. And I think the Principal Housing Officer, whose fingerprints is on this quite a bit, Ellen Denham. They were already discussing about that field in 2016, and this is when they stopped cutting the grass and the rest. And she asked him a simple question. When you knew about that, and the paperwork was there, she showed it in front of Catherine and him, she says, did you inform the residents? And he wouldn't answer it twice. She asked him twice in front of the MP people. What does that look like then? Because he didn't tell them. And then when it went on lockdown, as you heard, if anybody that's watched the previous ones, it went on lockdown again, and this is what they do. Because they would have had legal people there at the side, and I'm telling you, when it went on lockdown, people, Catherine tried, in fact, I'm not going to divorce, I'm coming back to Catherine in another one. So, when it went on lockdown, it went off the screen, it'd come back on within a few seconds, but we could see them then, it didn't now, but we could see Catherine turned in her room where she was, turned to the side, talking to people for about a minute or so, and then he was doing the same. And as we're sitting there, we're going, yeah, this better not be happening again. So they go obviously, yeah, and then they come back on after a couple of minutes, but he's to the side in the room, he's in, and he's laughing, people. And I had just read out stuff which I'd read out the previous ones, which is serious stuff. I'm calling the council corrupt in what they're doing with this on every aspect of it. Every aspect, in the court out on every part of it, and they're not going to let us get it out. And he was laughing. And I pulled him about it, of course, what you're laughing at, and he just waffled on some garbage, you know. So look, he's not just laughing at us, yeah. We're not legal people, man, we're just residents, you know. Angela's the brains, like I say, it's fucking, well. So he's not just laughing at us, he's laughing at yous, he's laughing at your grandkids, he's laughing at your kids, your parents and that. Taking this serious issue, said to him, and it's a laughing one, and not answer questions. That's in front of the MP as well, eh? Well, we had to get back to her, man. You're not a good person either, Catherine. You're not good. She said I was rude on there, you know. And I wasn't really, you know. And I did say it, right, if I'm coming across as rude, I'll apologise. You know. But I nearly did say it. You need to get out more. If you think I'm bad, get out more. Right, the Chronicle, sure, what's happened with the Chronicle is, the Chronicle have put stuff in now, as you've heard, anybody else followed previous ones, the Chronicle are in with them, and I'm going to address them in another small one and just reiterate stuff to you. The next ones, I'll do some short ones. So the Chronicle put an article in now, waffling on and all that crack, and they said that Angela Oliver pleaded with a leader of council and that she never done nothing of the sort. Whoever put that, you, either Dan Owensworth or your crony Chronicle people, you're a dirty liar. She never pleaded with anyone, and you should know better, because we're going to read out exactly what she said, and there's no pleading going on, it's facts, and it's not good for them, and this is why they're ignoring it. That's why them are ignoring it as well. They're part of the problem, people, and not your local news at all. They're disgraceful, it's even comical, you know. So hey, we'll come back to yous, man. You didn't look good, Dan Holmesworth, because, well, I'll come back to that later as I just get sidetracked. You're an utter disgrace, mate. Utter disgrace. I'll just say a couple more bits, see if that's out there to hide. And, right, they're just taking a big massive wildlife corridor there. You've seen what they've destroyed. There was loads of hedgehogs, there was butterflies, there was just about any English bird, man. There was loads there. And it's just took a big wildlife corridor right out and just destroyed it, and then they come with about wildlife and the rest, they're going to put them on bus stops. Remember that crack, eh? Wow. They're out of control, 100%. They're not only doing this and laughing at us people and doing it, they're doing it to all of yous. We have them here. We believe 100% the bank of rights. So you've got to get behind me, and this is what I'm going to say before I go and do. So there's different ways we need to try to do this now. They're taking the field, yeah, but they've got to be accountable for it. And they're trying to avoid accountability, yeah. It's quite easy. That clown down there, the new sheriff in town, that idiot, Kempy, if he gets around the table with some of his cronies, and especially some of them idiot officers that are telling them it's above board, get in front of there with us and we'll start again through it, and yous total liars are going to look idiots as well, so stop just repeating this nonsense. Angela's told you in an email to stop insulting our intelligence, you fools. So we're waiting if one's back from them, so the way around this is somebody send a proper journalist up. You have one of yours narrow one, a proper one out the area. These are no good, yeah, the BBC's the same. I'll come to them when I address the Chronicle. Send a proper one up, or can Angela or someone do a standard email and get us to just press on it, link it and send it down, just to log it down there, and we need to force them to have an inquiry, and we need to get in front of them, because this needs to be stopped. They're going to keep doing it, and you know why? Because if you don't look at the problems and give people opportunity to explain them, you're going to repeat them problems. Because you've never learnt about them and you're not willing to look at them, so you'll never learn from them, and you're going to repeat them, and they're going to shove this on you and mug all of yous off out there. They're coming for your field next, and they should be stopped here. And there is a way of doing it. They've got to be held accountable, and they should be. So I don't know how they can get away with this. So look, some of you try to get together somehow with the independents or something, or War Independent or somebody to contact Angela. She's on Next Door and stuff. And we need to force them to have accountability. And that's how it needs to go, people. Right, I'll be coming back with some short ones soon. I'll be reading these emails out, man, and you'll see where they're coming from and where they're at. They're in a right old predicament, mate. Telling you. Right, you take care. Have a good time. Didn't watch your main news, you've heard that a million times. There's a lot of good news out there. And I'll be back.